Good evening. Welcome to your Monday night edition of Not Another Rangers podcast. You're either a sadomasochist that's looking for pain and a massive fan of the podcast, or just nowhere else to be tonight, I'm assuming. Because this is going to be challenging to say the least. Yesterday result is going to be high on the agenda, pretty much take up all of the agenda. We'll kind of cover the good, the bad, and indifferent of what was a very disappointing result, but creditable performance. But creditable performances get you no trophies. That doesn't really matter. So we'll talk about all those things. We'll talk about the new CEO starting today, and we'll talk about where VAR is nowadays. Seems to have went missing all season, and we'll see where they actually are and all the stuff around that. So I'm not going to say how are you, Ricky, but so let's just dive right into the game, because how are you? I know how you're feeling.
Yeah, it's painful one, mate. It's a kick in the balls. It was a hard one to take. I thought we deserved to take the trophy back to Ibrox, and so close, but again, so far. We've found another way to lose to them on penalty kicks. But if we want to get right into the match, I thought the first 45 minutes, Clement got his tactics spot on. We were all surprised when we seen the team sheet, But as Rami starting, when I saw the team sheet, I thought he was going to be starting on the left. When he put him right against Callum McGregor, I thought he did a fantastic job on McGregor, and I thought it worked really well. Hadji on the left was a surprise as well, playing left wing. Nobody seen that coming. But I thought for 45 minutes, we went in at 1-0. We weren't pressing. We were waiting. Oh, there's Walter. We were letting the centre-backs from Celtic have the ball, which was a good tactic. And then we were jumping on them when they were trying to break the lines, which Celtic were struggling to do. But unfortunately, Thursday night, the second half, we came out, we had that chance, we missed that chance. The second half, you saw the players, the energy, it was just incredible how quick the batteries drained. Yefte had nothing left in the tank. He was suddenly getting skinned. The main one was Raskin, who was fantastic again, but he just completely ran out of steam, which is understandable. And then Celtic came back into it, and they've got quality players, and their quality, they went 2-1 up. And fair play to the players for coming back and getting that 2-1, and they've coming back from 2-1 and getting it back to 2-2 and then 3-3. But disappointing not to win the cup, mate. Really disappointed.
Yeah. And Scott, before we'll get dived into the game, we'll look at different bits, but your overriding thoughts when you woke up this morning, how are you feeling?
I was about to say to you, thanks for that, Ricky. We'll see you on Friday by now.
When it's over, when it's done.
No, listen, yesterday, don't get me wrong, I was gutted, I was angry, but I've watched it back, and my opinions changed about how we've played. I didn't think we were as good as I thought we were yesterday. We were decent. I didn't think they were good as either. I thought it was a game where both teams weren't great. Do you know what I mean? Defences weren't great at either sides either. So I think it's about 3 each. Do you know that way? But listen, it's one of the games. It's a cup final. There's a lot of goals. It could have went either way. Unfortunately, it went our way. So I'm not as bad as I was. Last night I was happy I went to see Slipknot because I was raging. So that kind of helped me with anger issues. But no, it's one of these things, Gary. They done better than expected, but we still never done enough.
So I was obviously there, and I was sitting in your seat, Scott. I used your ticket, my daughter used mine. So thanks for that. So I was there, and Ricky was asking me earlier on, did I enjoy the game? And I think I would say to him, no, I didn't enjoy it at all. It was tense, it was nerve-wracking, it was fraught, you're waiting for something bad to happen. It wasn't enjoyable as a game. People were talking after the game, 3 each, great cup final. People remember this. It didn't feel like that at the time. It was a game you just were hoping to scrape over the line and make less mistakes than the other team. And that's the sad thing. And unfortunately, when it came to the lottery, we made one extra mistake, and which cost us a game. And we'll get to that later on. So we'll talk a wee bit about the team lineups first, Ricky. So you talked briefly of them. Team lineup comes in. The big decisions were around Tav versus Sterling. We also, I suppose, who you play on the left and who you play number 10. They're the kind of 3 main ones. I think the rest of the team pretty much picked itself. What was your thoughts on the team lineup?
Well, I think you were right on Friday, so I'll give you your credit, mate. It was you that said we were all advocating for Sterling to start, but you were of the view that Sterling maybe would be suited better to the substitute bench in case one of our defenders got injured, and that was exactly what happened. Balogun, obviously, he got an injury in the first half. I didn't think Balogun had that great a match. I thought Tavernier was okay. I thought Tavernier had his best game against Celtic for a while. I know Kerr disagrees. He didn't think he was that great, but I thought he had a few loose moments where just really when he plays that long slack ball forward and it lets the team break on us. But Bajrami, I thought, really worked on McGregor. I thought that was a really good decision. Sterling, when he came on at centre-back, I thought he did okay, Sterling, and I would like to see him in the team now at right centre-back for the next few weeks until John Souttar comes back, because I don't want to see the Balogun Proper partnership. I don't think it works. I thought Proper was all right. He probably had his best game he's had in Scotland, but our defence wasn't great. We conceded 3 really, really bad goals. And I thought, as I said, I thought the lineup, it'll be interesting to see what happens on the second, because they'll probably expect us to play exactly the same way with this Bajrami on McGregor. So, and it'll be interesting to see if what the players will hopefully be a little bit fitter. I know we've got a busy Christmas period and stuff like that, but games in Europe, that game against Spurs took so much out of us with the crowd at Ibrox and the emotions. So you could see that really had a big effect on the team, unfortunately.
Yeah. And Scott, yourself, so as I said, Bajrami comes in at number 10. A lot of people thought Danilo might have started. Hadji comes in on the left-hand side. And say Tav starts instead of Sterling. So team lineup.
Listen, I knew what he was trying to do when he made it. I'd still started Danilo myself, but I'm not the manager. It was a good call, but maybe kind of limited McGregor to do what he does, but we still conceded 3 goals at the end of the day, so it worked to a point. But no, I think it gave Igaman less support at times because he didn't have somebody running off him like Danilo has been. So I thought a lot of people said he didn't play well. I thought Igaman done okay up front himself. He had the shot, he got as a goal, and he was an issue for Carter Vickers and Scales when he come on, and trust before that. Yeah, he wasn't his usual self what we've seen, but he was up against 2 defenders who are better than what he's previously played against. Yeah, obviously I'll be a part of his Spurs, but I thought he had less support in Sunday than he did in previous games, just because we were playing kind of 3 midfield. You can see a right winger and Cherney, but he was pretty come inside. You've got also Barami and Hadji, but they were trying to defend at times. Well, Cherney was, I don't know what he was doing half the time, he was poor. But Barami, I thought he had a really good match, and I thought Hadji defended really well. You don't want to see Hadji coming back and defending, but I thought he had to at times, because I thought the 2 left backs were stinking. I didn't think put them together and they still didn't play well. I thought that was our main issue. But no, credit to him for trying that. And listen, I like to see him, a manager, doing different things instead of sticking to the same rigid formation he was sticking to. Yeah, it might have been because of injuries and stuff, but he still had players out to try and change it, he never. But he has done it now, so fair play to him for doing that, but he has to carry it on. It's just game for me. Come on at the moment in time, but it's good to see him trying something different now.
No. So Ricky,
Gary, I would like just quickly come in there. I mean, I don't know if we're good enough yet. With Souttar being out, I don't know if we're good enough just to take them on. I wanted to see Danilo start as well, like Kerr's point there, but I don't know if we're good enough to actually just. I think the tactics we had in the first half worked quite well because we were able to break onto them, and but I don't know if we're good enough to just start Danilo and just say, right, we're just going to take them on, because they've been building their team over years and years, and for some reason every time we play them, they're always at their strongest. We always seem to have players out and they're always at their strongest, so it's a tough one.
And start with you. I mean, obviously Souttar's a huge blow, Ricky. He's probably been one of our best players this season. Certainly over the last 2 months, he's probably been our standout. And when you take him out of the equation, that there was a big loss there defensively.
Yeah, without a doubt, mate. It definitely had a massive effect on our defence, and I think it's an area we really need to be looking to strengthen in January. And to be fair though, I don't think until we're tired they were pulling us all over the place as I expected. I actually thought before Yefty completely tired, I thought we were defending all right. I mean, they only really had in the first half, they had that one opportunity where Kuhn skinned Yefty and sort of came inside, and then it was a good save from Butland. But apart from that, they didn't really carve us open. And we'll obviously speak about the massive moment on the 50th minute when we were 4-on-1 and Igamani totally the wrong choice. I mean, I'm not having a go at Igamani. I love the kid. I'll never say a bad word about him, but that was just the wrong pass. If we could have got 2-0 up at that point, it would have been absolutely massive. For some reason, we missed that chance, and then the team situated for we went back to the old Rangers for like 5 minutes, and when that happened, we were 2-1 down.
So sticking with you then, Ricky, the first 50 minutes, I think at the game, I thought we started well. We were pressing quite high. I'm sure Hadji has a chance. It's a decent bit of play down one point, but we're in control of the game. They're losing the ball quite frequently, and at that stage, we've kind of got control. We're doing well, looking as though we're quite sharp.
Yeah, we surprised them. We surprised them, and because we finally, it's taken, I don't know, 3 years to realise that everything they do is through Callum McGregor. Finally, we put a player, Baz Rami, who did a great job of just sitting on him and stopping that passing lines, and they were having to play out from defence, and then we weren't pressing them. There's no point in, like, you see it when Igamani's just pressing on his own and the wingers are not helping. It's just silly. Just let them come into defence, and Carter Vickers and especially Trusty kept giving the ball away, and Scales as well when he came on. So I really liked that plan. That Clement was trying to do, but it's just unfortunate that we ran out of steam.
Yeah, and then Scott, probably from about 20 minutes, you'll remind me. I was at the game, so it's hard to judge. So with 20 minutes, about 35, Celtic are very dominant. We are kind of struggling to get the ball apart in half. Kuhn has that chance, as he's talking about. Kyogo has a shot at goal that's relatively tame. But we're starting to lose the midfield battle at that point, as far as I remember.
I think it's because we were playing, Gary. We had a game plan, we had a shape we wanted. We didn't really want to come out of shape because we were kind of letting them come into and playing and trying to nick the ball off them, which we've done a few times. I thought we were pressing well because we had players in positions to press, and that Barami was sitting in an area where a lot was coming from the Celtic centre backs. It wasn't coming for the midfielders because he was staying there. So I think he set out a shape. He didn't want to break the shape because it was working to a point. That's why we put a lot of the long balls, diagonal long balls to Igamani Ranotti. That's what I was meaning. He lacked support because we were sitting with a shape so much to stop him playing, which was working to a point. But as soon as we tried to play long or play out to Igamani, the midfielders weren't getting up quick enough. So he did. He was in a battle himself a lot, and people are saying he didn't really do this and that. I thought he was trying. Listen, if it was somebody else up there, they wouldn't win any of the battles. So I thought he'd done really, really well, considering the last few games there's people running off him left and right. But I thought he'd done well. But I thought we done well pressing wise. I thought Raskin was superb again. I thought he's nipping things. He was hustling. He was forcing them into mistakes. I thought, let's say, Hadji was getting areas where it was stopping them passing between the lines, so they had to move it to the other side. I thought Balogun was covering Tav at times, but he did look good, Balogun, quite early on after I think he pulled up with something. I thought Proper was actually okay. His pace has not been great, but I thought he was okay. But I thought the one they were getting at him most was Nefty. I thought he was poor. I thought his awareness was poor. I thought his defending was poor. And he's a man with the pace, but I thought Kuhn ran at him and he didn't really know, did I go right, did I go left? He was watching the player, he wasn't watching the ball, do you know what I mean? I was like, I'll keep my focus on him, but I'll not keep my focus on the white thing. It's like I need to do the opposite. But listen, they set out a stall and it worked, and it's good. The players have listened to him, what he wants them to do, and that's all we've wanted. That's all I've ever wanted. We see the manager set something out and the players take instruction and listen. Whereas before, it looked like they were lost in the part and he was giving instructions they didn't understand. But they kind of understood them yesterday because we had a lot of the ball, Celtic, but we limited them to clear-cut chances, and it's good to see they followed the instructions.
So into that then, Scott, I'll stick with you. We then, the press works effectively. You'd seen half a dozen times at least they were trying the same thing. Often looked like Tierney was running nowhere because we were trying to just catch that wee moment. As Rami wins the ball, goes forward, I think he plays the ball too early, or not a great ball to Eggman. You think you've lost that opportunity. His shot, Schmeichel potentially could do better. But it's great. There's nothing better when you actually know a ball's going in the back of the net and time stands still and you're watching the guy running towards it knowing there's going to score and we're 1-0 up.
I done really well, man, because he could have took it early, could have maybe looked for a pass, but his awareness was good. He kept it between his feet. I think it was Trusty, wasn't it? And then Carter Vickers come over. He got his shot away, but he done it like he bit his shot across the keeper. He didn't go for the near side. He went across the far side, knowing if the keeper did make a save, it's coming back out. And Barami had the instinct to keep running, and that's what you see, Gary. That's when we take our chances and do really well. And it was a good goal. We deserved that at that point, because I thought we took everything they kind of had at a point, and then they kind of didn't lose it, but they were trying to think other things to do. But we had the answers, and then we broke and we scored at perfect time just before half time. Do you know what I mean? So it was good to see, and it was good getting at half time with the lead. But you always knew in the second half it was going to be a big 45, and could we carry on?
Yeah. So half time comes, nothing much else happens before half time. We're nervous still, obviously 1-0 up, but we were asked to be. We said it'll be different when you score first, so we've done that. We played well, probably the better team. We've done that. Second half comes, Ricky, and we have 4-1 that you mentioned. We break.
No, man.
Cherny plays the ball forward, I think. Igaman runs with it. Bajrami's on the right. There's two guys left. I can't remember who the two were. I'm sitting in the north stand. You'll literally say, just pass the ball to the left, and they've got a clear goal. And he plays the wrong ball. Now the angle's narrowed, and the cutback is in too difficult to achieve. So that is pretty much the moment that potentially kills the game.
Yeah, it did, and it was Lennon said it on commentary with Hutton, and Igamani just totally took the wrong choice, mate. I don't know if he looked to his left or, and I don't know. I think he was trying to play the pass at the right moment, and also he overhit the ball a little bit too much. I mean, I still think Bajrami could have dinked it, but I just think it happened so fast that it's easy to say, oh, he should have done this, he should have done that. But Igamani, who's done everything right in the last 5 weeks, he just on that occasion chose the wrong option. And it was unbelievable, because we were to that point of the match, we were in complete control. We were the better team. They hadn't really threatened us. And then the team, I don't know if we saw that chance and then the players just drained, but it just had such a big effect. It was like this offside goal at the Piggery, you know. So when that happened, for some reason it affected our players. And when this happened, I mean, it was the 2 goals we lost was absolutely... Why do we never make these mistakes in Europe? But then every time we play an Old Firm game, if you look at the last 3 or 4 years, we're like the Chuckle Brothers in defence when we play against Celtic. The goals that we gift them are absolute comical, and it is so frustrating, mate. So frustrating.
So sticking with you then for the first goal then. So they get a corner, the ball comes across, comes out to Taylor, who for at least the second time I remember now, he hits a feeble shot from the edge of the box that deflects off Raskin into the back of net. I suppose one question is, I noticed a few times at corners, they had 4 or 5 guys stand at the edge of the box, and we're really deep. I don't know if it's a tactical thing.
Yeah, it's weird. Why was nobody near him? Nobody's. I mean, it's Taylor. He's getting hounded. He was having an absolute terrible game, the same as Jefte at that point, you know. And why he's got all that space at the side of the box was just bizarre. Somebody should. I mean, we had so many players in the box, you know, and it was like the only way he could score was just it was a mishit shot that came. I mean, I'm not blaming Raskin. I saw people. Raskin had a terrible 10 minutes. I mean, but you can't blame him for that goal. He's trying to put his foot out to block, and it hits off him and goes in. It was just they didn't deserve that at that point, and it didn't deserve to be 1-1 at that point. But again, it was the same in the Tottenham match, and it was the same against Celtic. We have to get better at attacking. We have great opportunities. We get into fantastic positions, but either our final ball or the way we finish or our decision making, it has to improve, because you can see that with them, they're a lot sharper when they get into their positions. And obviously they've got VAR on their side as well, which we'll speak about for the third goal. But for the first, when we get into their positions, we have to be better. And come on, I think we see improvements, but we need to keep seeing improvements. Hopefully Cortez will come back in and then give a bit more competition. We have to get better when we're in their positions, because if you don't get that second goal, you know that these teams, when you're playing the quality teams, this is what's going to happen against you. So we'll have to get better at that.
Yeah. I see a comment there about Proper. I don't think Proper was particularly at fault for anything during the game. He beat McCoon once. Other than that, I thought he was fine, to be honest with you. So second goal Scott comes, and it's a catalogue of errors. Butland hoofs the ball up into the moon, and it comes back down. Nobody's standing next to McGregor, and nobody goes near him. It bounces. He then hooks over his shoulder. Raskin, for some reason, decides to do a weak header back to Balogun. And I know, having watched that again, Balogun's on his heels. So what should be an easy one to get is kind of step backwards and then can't get forward. Maeda nicks in. And I give Maeda his due. It's a good finish. So that's unfortunately. But error after error, and we looked completely gone at that point, Scott.
We did, Gary, like you said, the ball bounces next to McGregor. It comes up, goes down, and no one Rangers players need him. That was probably the first time. And Raskin's too close to Balogun. He's usually further up the park, I think, because of it's been happening before that. That's why he's further back. But when it comes back, he tries a header. I don't know if he didn't put enough on it, or he was just trying to get back so Balogun could go forward. Because he wasn't on his toes, he was on his heels. And I think at first he thought, I'll go and header it, and he changed his mind. He goes with his foot. But Maeda's quick. He's quick for a starting position. Many times he's done that. Tells just nick it away for the defender. And once he was through, he knew he was going to score. He doesn't really miss any chances. Yeah. But it was an error, not just one or two. There was a few errors in there, and it's not great to see because there's been times we've done that in the past, but what I will say, and listen, I've been critical of the team and the manager for a long time, especially this season. But they never had after it. They came back out again. They never felt sorry for themselves. They thought we need to rectify this, and they came back out and done it. So we have to give them a bit of credit for that. So
60 minutes or so gone, and I've left this comment up because I want somebody to. I've said I seen him go down. I'm told, I'm not sure whether it was a foul somewhere else on the park that was given instead of actually looking at the penalty. Somebody's told me that.
Sure. I'll speak about this one, right? Because there was three massive decisions in the match, right? This one, I can sort of understand why they decided it was actually a foul on McGregor. I think it was Balogun kicked McGregor before. I mean, Diamande, it was a clear penalty on Diamande. The guy took Diamande down, but just before that, there was a kick on McGregor, and it was easy. I mean, Beaton never gave it, and then it was like the goal that Aberdeen never got against Celtic in the cup final, where they made up a foul before they chopped off the goal last season. So for that one, I sort of can see why we didn't get a penalty. Now, the Czerny one, the third decision, was a clear penalty, an absolute clear penalty. And how VAR can... I mean, the thing that sickens you with these matches is if these decisions were out the other way, and the third goal that they scored as well, the trip on Diamande, 1,000,000% of that's us. That was way worse than what happened with Desser's that goal that Roof got chopped off last season. So there was three massive decisions in the match, and also the penalty. Schmeichel standing in the box waving his hands is, I mean, Jesus, what do you want him to do? Beaton would have let him away with chucking things at Butland when they were taking their penalties. So Beaton was all over the place. It was disgraceful what he let Schmeichel get away in that shootout. But so the three big decisions in the match. The penalty, Diamande, I can understand why he gave a free kick for that. The Czerny one was clear, and we all know why VAR didn't get involved in that. We spoke about it on Friday, who was in the room, and they can see 100% that that's a penalty. People trying to excuse it and go, he blew the whistle. And the other one was the Diamande. The only thing I'll say is Clement has to make the Rangers players watch back. And I know the players are tired and everything, but like McGregor and Carter Vickers, every time there was a decision to be made, they were right on Beaton's face. Right in Beaton's face, and Beaton's a reactive ref. The players should have known that. Like, I think he wasn't going to book Balogun. He booked Balogun because McGregor was shouting at him. That happened 2 or 3 times in the match. With the Diamande, when Kuhn deliberately tripped him up, and that's why he was standing on his own in the box. I mean, why he didn't get up and start screaming at the ref to say, look, get in VAR, he tripped him up. Because, again, it was like, come on, though. He's just sitting on the ground like that. Like, he put his hands up and then just sat on the ground. So the decisions were absolutely shocking, but our players have to be a lot more street smart as well, because they do it. they wind the refs up the week before the match, and then when the game kicks off, they're right in the ref's face and stuff like that. And it's all right going, oh, well, we don't want to see that and all that, but you've got to do it. It's an old firm game, you know. So for me, 2 of the 3 decisions were completely wrong. And it was, again, it's so exhausting with everything. And we didn't win the cup. It was so exhausting speaking about referees every single Old Firm game. And it's always one way as well, you know.
No, I agree. So, Scott, we come back to one of the good things we'll talk about in terms of was the fact twice we came back after going down. So we come back, Diomande. I think for 10 minutes before that, we're kind of getting into the ascendancy. We had a couple of shots. I get Manny, if I remember right, it's a fresh air swipe when he should do better. Diomande had a great save from Schmeichel, and then he scores, brings it back to each. So I think it showed good character, good strength, considering the exertions of a few days before that.
That's been mentioned a lot, Gary, the game against Spurs into a Sunday. That doesn't wash for me. If you're a footballer and you want to play in big competitions, you have to play matches in short space of times. Yeah, they had 2 days extra, fair enough. But you can't blame them, you have to blame us for not getting into Champions League. We didn't play well enough against Kiev, so you have to blame us for that. So if you want to play in Europe and then play in a cup final, you have to do these things. That's what you get paid for. So I don't hold that as an excuse. I think that's an excuse if you're looking for one. It's not an excuse for me. Just touching on the VAR thing, I think the problem in Scotland is there's no consistency. No, I'm not sitting here saying refs are biased. I'm not. I don't think the refs are good enough. I don't think VAR is good enough. But the problem is Celtic have made this a big deal for a long time. Conspiracy thing about we get everything, blah blah blah. They bring up Mary James, the media back it constantly. We say things, but we let it lie. Now I seen Patrick Stewart's been in touch already to ask about clarification, and that's fine. But if he gets his clarification, come on, say it the last time it happened. He doesn't want to talk about these things. It's just leave it. But I think you have to keep mentioning it because, and I'm not one for. I think there's I don't think there's any conspiracy. It might be favouritism because everybody's got favourites, even referees. But I think we have to start doing what they've done, and they're masters at it. I'm not going to say, how can it be a conspiracy in Scotland when they're winning all these trophies? There's a conspiracy. Should know a conspiracy so they don't win, man. Is that not how conspiracies happen? Do you know what I mean? So I think they're going to have to be, like Ricky says, street smart and bring it up every game we play before them because they do it with us. They bring up, Rogers mentioned beating before, didn't he, before we played them? So we'll have to go in and bring things up. We have to put pressure on them as well and say, well, and it's not fair on the referees, but that's the thing it is. It has to be brought. We can't have it all one-sided and then we don't get penalties, we don't get things, and it's like, oh, bad losers. He's only good enough, you're just blaming this, you're blaming that. No, because we all know if the boot was on our foot, there'd be documentaries made about it and stage shows made about it and books written about it just because they don't get stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it can't always be the one way. It has to be across the board. So we have to be street smart and start doing the same stuff. And as for Diomande, I thought he done really well yesterday. He took his goal really well. That was a great finish and he held it up and swiveled and turned. And that was a great finish. And listen, I can't fault any team yesterday for the effort they put in. And yeah, and I've seen people say we should be playing for the back and playing between the lines. That's great if you get a players to do that, but we've tried that in the past and been destroyed at half time, 3-0 down and stuff like that. So we have to play a game plan where it works against them. And that worked to a point, like I said. You can't get and say, we'll play for the back. We know how Jack Butland is for the back with his feet. He's not great. Balogun's not great with his feet either. Hefty's Tav, they give the ball away. So we have to play to our strengths. And yesterday that was our strengths. Sitting, pressing, and then hitting the break or playing the long balls. And it's not going to happen every game. But it worked yesterday to a point, like I said. Granted, it didn't work enough because we didn't get the trophy. But it kept us in a game whereas in 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were going into this thinking, we're going to get hammered here. Because after the Dundee United game at Ibrox, not one of us sitting here or anybody watching us, if you're a Rangers fan or I see some Celtic fans on the night, thanks for joining us, lads. It's like after that game I won each at Ibrox, I wasn't confident about playing Spurs or playing them. But you can see a wee bit of progression, which I'm happy about, but I want to see it more often. Do you know that way? But I was happy yesterday with the way the effort for the team and how we fought. Because that was annoying me all season, Gary. The lack of fight for some of these players was a bugbear for me because I didn't see it. But yesterday, some of them have proved me wrong. Some of them have made it worse for themselves, but some of them have proved me wrong.
So 2-each, then it goes 3-2 now, Ricky. I've seen it on at the game. I've seen it on my phone a wee bit, but you talked about Diamande clipping the heels. I'm not sure how much was in it, to be honest with you. But again, similar goal we've lost many times. Quick breaks down the side, got back to the edge of the box, 12 yards out, and the guy is a free swipe at goal.
Gary, it's always the same. If it was the other way, 1,000,000% that goal gets chopped off. If we score that goal, it doesn't matter. Even if it was accidental, it doesn't matter. Diamande was running with Kuhn. He trips him up. He blatantly trips him up. He's on the ground, and the guy's standing with all the space in the world to smash it past Butland. So for me, and okay, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, what Yilmaz was doing, come on. He was, I mean, I don't want to dig the players out, but Yilmaz was poor when he came on. You know, Yefte was poor, and I keep wanting to give Yilmaz a chance, and I'm fair play to him for standing up and taking the penalty. I'll give him credit for that. We'll speak about that later. But I mean, he dived in. Raskin was tired by then. Sort of went through his legs, and then Yilmaz completely sold the jersey. And at that point, when they were breaking like that, you sort of had a bad feeling that, they're going to do it again. And it's exactly what happened, you know, because it's like we spoke about. They have the quality when they get into their positions to make the right decisions. We need to get to that level with our Cortezes, our Igamans, our Danilos, our Hagis. We need to get to that level where we're breaking at speed like that. We take the opportunities. And if you're 2-0 up and you're 3-0 up, then games are out of sight. So it was a really bad goal to lose, mate.
Yeah, so was it 20 odd seconds later after the restart, we go up the park, Cherney, great ball in. He probably gets on his left foot too easily. Great cross in and fantastic header for Danilo, and very much surprised again. We think with 87 minutes gone, the game is done. But straight back into it in 3-each.
No, it was a great. Danilo done really well. He made the run. Cherney saw him. It was actually the first time Cherney done all match. It was actually notable. I thought he was poor. I thought I was really poor. Just expecting a lot more from him. And like I said to you before, I think when Tav's there and Tav goes by or Tav's straight for the ball, his first thing he does is give it to Tavernier. I think he should do less of that. I think he should do a lot more himself. But that's just my opinion. But he got on the ball. He got on his left foot. Pinged it in, and that was a great header for Dino because he's up against a big centre back and Vickers, who knows dominating there and so skills, and he got there because he made the run. His timing was great. So, and to be honest with you, after they going 3-2 down, I wasn't expecting that. You probably weren't in the stadium. You're probably thinking, "Fuck, that's it. That's close to the final whistle." But that happens. That's what I said a minute ago. They had a bit of fight yesterday. Granted, we never won, and I'll accept that, but we had a bit of fight, and that's what we've not had the first half of this season. We lacked fight, we lacked passion, we just lacked a lot of stuff. We looked lost at times, but yesterday we had fight. Spurs, we had fight. Yesterday we had fight. The last few games in the league, you've seen the difference as well. And I think that's because he has been playing more attacking wise, and he's changed the formation, and he's not been so stubborn with what he's doing. And it was good to see, but penalties is always a lottery, as we all know, it can go either way. And that's why I don't like extra time, because I think both teams looked gas in extra time. I thought both players were just thinking, let's go to penalties here, because there was not a lot happened apart from the penalty shout, which we all know should have been a penalty. But
So I'm going to play devil's advocate, right?
These times are only given because it's the backwater of Scottish football. There's so much pressure on refs. There's so much crap going on behind the scenes up here, and that's a simple decision to make for me, especially when you see refs everywhere else in Sky talking about it, saying it's a penalty, and you've got guys like Tom English coming out and saying it's a penalty. Do you know what I mean? And it's so blatant. I mean, but referees not come out and say anything, but Wally Coleman will probably come out this week at some point, and next week he does videos and say, apologise.
I don't think he will. I think he'll come out and say he gave a foul for the first tackle, so it makes the next bit redundant. So if he actually sees his leg goes across first, and I think if he argues he blew the whistle and gave a foul, then I think you'd say the other bit was.
He never blew the whistle.
No, but he never blew the whistle. Then
Yeah.
he blew the whistle. He blew the whistle after, and because every time there's an Old Firm game, everyone swallows the rule book, and we all become referees. Every time there's an Old Firm game, the decision is that if it continues into the box, you have to give the penalty kick. But you can't blame Beaton for not giving that. I thought it was a fair decision at the time. It's VAR that should have been looking at it. That's the whole point. VAR is there. They're the ones that can see his foot is on the line when the actual main tug happens. So if that is the case, it should have been given a penalty.
Why did they say to Clement? Because Clement came out and said he asked Beaton, and the Beaton said VAR told him there was nothing to look at penalty wise.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Because VAR looked at it and they took.
You could have said then I blew before you get into the box. Do you know what I mean? So
But then they're going to throw Beaton under the bus. So if they do that, they're going to throw the referee under the bus. But at the end of the day, they made the wrong decision, and it's cost us. So at the end of the day, no matter what they come out and say, if they try and cover it up, they're better just to come out and say it was a mistake, because it's the only way that they can sort of save face, if you want, No.
So the rest of the extra time, to be fair, goes without incident. Nothing much happens. I think both teams have settled for a draw. The subs come on for both sides, don't really do an awful lot. I think I'm trying to remember who came on. Barron, Dowell and Dessers in extra time, I think, was the three that came on. They don't really contribute much, any of the three of them, to be honest, and weren't actually that. When the game just peters out and goes to penalties, I think both teams have settled for that. Then we'll get to the big debate, I suppose, in it. I'll give my view before I come to yours, because I think there's been a lot of talk about Dessers over the last day or so. And do you know what? He should have taken that penalty, but does it matter? We knew Yilmaz was taking. I think I knew before he took it, Yilmaz was taking a penalty. So Yilmaz was still a missed and Dessers was still a score and we still lost. It wouldn't have made a lot of difference, I don't think, predominantly. But I get we're looking for somebody to blame, and he seems to be one of the ones that's probably easier to do.
You can't blame Yilmaz for missing the penalty, but what you can say is, look at the size of Yilmaz, man. The penalty spot for Yilmaz is like the halfway line. It's like taking a pen for the halfway line. So it was a silly decision. It was like England during the Euros when they had kids like Saka and all that. You've got to be smarter with who's taking your penalties. And of course, Desser's going to get a lot of stick, and I'm giving him a lot of stick because I hope I never see him if I see him in a Rangers jersey, it'll be too soon, mate. I didn't think a Rangers player could annoy me anymore, but he's managed to look at their backup striker from the bench, stepped right up, first penalty, bang, in the net, midfielder, bang, in the net, midfielder, bang, in the net, striker, captain, and then their striker, the final penalty is taken by the striker. Come on. It was a clown. Jack Butland shouldn't be taken in the top five. I don't care if he's a goalkeeper. I don't care if he's the mad Colombian goalkeeper from the 19. Remember the mad Colombian goalkeeper? So next time, this is professional football, man. Clement is getting. Could cost him his job, man. Jack Butland should not be taking the fifth penalty in a penalty shootout. Yilmaz should be number 11 taking penalties in a penalty shootout. He's a left back. Now Tavernier's a right back, but Tavernier was brilliant, stepped up, brilliant. The first three penalty takers were right. The last two penalty takers for us was an absolute joke. It looked a joke. Butland's penalty was brilliant and he hit it in the side netting, but it looked an absolute joke. It wouldn't have been, you're right, it wouldn't have been any different. If Yilmaz had scored and Butland had took the fifth penalty and Butland had missed, you imagine the way fans would be reacting to our goalkeeper taking a penalty. The strikers should be taking penalties. That's what they're paid. Dessers is paid nearly 30 grand a week, and he can't take a penalty in a cup final against Celtic. Come on, guys.
I'd agree with. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing. I just think it's irrelevant to say that there was a significant impact in the match. I don't think it was particularly relevant in the match, but still should have been on the top five. I think. Scott.
Yeah, but
sorry, Rick, on you go.
Just the last bit. Look at their penalties. Look at their penalties. Five players that made sense that took the penalties, and the only penalty that I think Butland's a strange goalkeeper. I thought he had a really good match. He had a great save from Kyogo, but he's a goalkeeper that he when he dives, he looks like he's 3 feet tall sometimes. I don't know if you think the same, but when McGregor used to be even like the goals we concede against Tottenham and the goals, he's sort of weird when he dies. I don't know if it's his positioning, but he looks very small at times for an international goalkeeper in the goals, whereas Michael looked absolutely ginormous, you know.
I think that's it. You know, in terms of penalty, we're up for penalties. If I had a choice between Schmeichel and Butland, unfortunately, I'll take Schmeichel every time because Butland at penalties isn't particularly good. Since he's been here, it's not one of his strengths. Whereas McGregor used to kind of half expect him just to save it. Scott, penalty kicks comes as for some reason Schmeichel's allowed to stand on the penalty spot and wait till everybody comes up, as well as the other things. I thought Beaton was really weak in actually managing that whole process.
Listen, Beaton and Cal McGregor as well, and a couple of months before that, having a wee chit chat. So, listen, Beaton's not as against him as everybody thinks. It's just that's just a fact. It's a myth that's out there that people believe, but you're not supposed to do that. Nobody should be sitting there standing inside the goals trying to put somebody off. I mean, it's in the FIFA rule book, and I know we don't take that as gospel, but it's bad sportsmanship as well. But that's, you know who you're playing against, so it's always going to happen. But somebody should say something. Even Tash went up and say something, or Butland should up and say something, but obviously you never heard that and never bothered him. You've seen it with Hadji as well, shouting, but Giannis had enough confidence and swagger to put it by him and laugh at him. But as for the penalty takers, listen, it's usually five guys who feel most confident to take them. They've got maybe a list before the game, but if somebody says, no, I'm not as confident, or my legs are away, blah, blah, blah. But if Ridvan was one of the five, fine, but Ridvan to me walked up petrified. I don't know many people that didn't think he was going to miss, because even my wife said that. She's like, he's not going to score. He looks like he was shitting himself. He looked like a 12-year-old boy having been sent to his bed because he's not got a PlayStation to play with. Do you know what I mean? He was actually terrified. And listen, I was in the corner, but he didn't put any power in it, so that's why Schmeichel got it. Well, neither in the corner. But I don't know who the penalty takers were. I'm not going to find me Dessers, but what I will say about Dessers is he came on the park with no long left in the game.
Yeah.
He get booked. Did he actually do anything else?
No.
He wasn't closing down, he wasn't doing it. He tried to play a pass and he gave it away. He's just woeful. Dowell I'm not going to comment on because he shouldn't beat us. I mean, if Dowell's there coming on and plus a guys like Rice or Curtis or even Robbie Fraser or whatever, or even Ross McCausland sitting on the bench, then they've got issues because if he can get a game before you, because he's a waste of money, and it's not Kieran Dowell's fault. Listen, Rangers offered him the contract, he signed it, and if he's told to play or asked to play, he'll go on and do it because that's his job. But that's where our squad lacks depth. Now we need to, in January window, there's a lot to be done, but we need players out first. Dessers and Dowell are the first two for me. Ridvan as well, because I think you will get my bit of money for Ridvan. But McCausland has to get him known if he's not getting the game time, or has to be sold. Same with Leon King, because it's pointless these guys sitting on the bench and you're down to your bare bones and you're bringing on Kieran Dowell to save you in a cup semi-final in extra time. It's like, a cup final should say in extra time. It's like, as soon as they two come on, it was like 9 against 11 because the two offered absolutely sod all. And that's my biggest gripe with Clement, is bringing the two on. And I know Dessers can say, look at my record, well, fair enough, improve it and go and play with Real Madrid, as you said you might be able to do, but he's not good enough. I agree with Ricky. If I see him in a Rangers shirt again, it'll be too soon for me. I'd rather go with Danilo and a good man in the fourth place can get back to fitness. Play him as your third choice. Dessers is, I'm funny for the guy.
I don't think he does have a big future. We know that, whether it's going to be January or whether it's going to be summer that he leaves. But I think sometimes all of us suppose we're saying people look for somebody to blame, and I'm not sure he's the one for this occasion.
No, for penalties, I agree with you. No, I didn't want to take one fair enough. You have to give credit and you have to give thing to the guys who step up, because they've got a ball to say, I'll take one, Gaffer, because I'm thinking, but like I say, Yilmaz, the other four stepped up fine. Tav stepped up with a swagger, so did Hadji stepped up. You could probably get him 5 penalties, just score the 5 of them, that way. He was that confident. Even Jack Butland, I mean, that was some penalty. But for Yilmaz, I just thought he looks petrified, and it just didn't work for me. So maybe somebody else maybe stepped forward, but at that time you don't know unless you're in that group to see who's willing to offer or not.
I thought he was going to take a penalty. Yilmaz, when I was working at the 5 in my head, he was one that was going to take one. So, and maybe that says more about who else we had left other than anything else. So there's a question, Ricky, and I think this is probably quite interesting. So we have lost the game, as we all know, but the last month has probably seen an upturn in performances, and we're looking better. Where are we now? Has that been a damaging result for Clermont, or has it been a creditable result, or where do we stand?
Well, I think we can speak about this and that, and I do agree with Scott. I think that as long as our performances continue, we're starting to see shoots, right? And as long as that continues, and over the Christmas period, we're putting on good performances, and we start to see we're winning matches well, and the team is playing well. We've got a couple of not easy, but we've got quite nice fixtures coming up against Dundee, St Mirren at Ibrox, and then we've got, I think it's Motherwell away, and then I think the fixtures get quite tough after that. Is St Mirren away? Is it? It's on Boxing Day.
It's away
Boxing Day, St Mirren away. Okay. So, well, these are good matches to see where the team is at, and if we can keep, we'll have to keep. We can't let the cup final. We know it's a sore one. We're all really annoyed with what's happened that we didn't manage to get it over the line. But we were playing really well since the Dundee United game. We need to keep that going, and if he keeps that going, and we've got no excuses going into the 2nd of January. He has to beat Celtic. We know he has to beat Celtic. He can't go 7 games and not beat Celtic. But we're starting to see things now. I thought it's anyway. Well, 7, 8 games. He can't keep going up against. He can't keep going up against. We can't go the whole season and not beat Celtic. That's in the last game when they've won the league by 20 points does not count as beating Celtic. You know. So he's got to win one of these games that are coming up. He's probably going to get another 4 bites at them this season, and he can't keep losing. You know, Gerrard, people keep going on about the time that Gerrard got, and I don't want, listen, nobody wants to sack Clermont. Nobody wants to get rid of another manager. Do we want to bring in, you know, but Kerr's right. I mean, if we keep losing and dropping more points, and we keep falling more behind Celtic, and we lose to Celtic, or they even come to Ibrox and get a draw in the 2nd, then he's got all the players back. So this can't continue, you know. We've got to keep seeing improvement, and if we keep seeing improvement, then and he can get hopefully the board back him. If we can get a Dessers, a Yilmaz, and a Matondo out, that's huge wages, big salaries, players that get money in for they free. And he can bring 2 or 3 players in January. We need a defender and we need a striker. So we'll see what happens after that. I agree with Ross. I agree. Nobody can survive not winning 7 Old Firm games. But I mean, the board has to have the appetite to fire him. And does the board have the appetite to fire him? That's the big one, you know.
I think he gets until the end of the season, no matter what happens. I think he does, and I think the board will give him that. But if he finishes 2nd, but if we're maybe any more than 9 points behind him and don't win the Scottish Cup, he can't get another season for me. He can't go to next season thinking we've no won the league again, we've not won any trophies, but we see something happening with this guy. You have to take it game by game with Clermont. That's what I'm taking away. I know you two were on the bandwagon for a long time, that train that Gary's driving, but he's having his co-pilot. But no, I don't think he can. I think he's still got far too much wrong for me. I know you can look at this and you look at behind the scenes and you can look at injuries and stuff, but we shouldn't be sitting in the league where we are with him many points behind, no matter how many injuries we had or how many, because that squad of players we've got should still be sitting second in Scottish football. And that's no disrespect in our team, but they should be. Maybe no closer to Celtic, because obviously they've got a bigger squad, they've got better players, but they shouldn't be sitting 3rd. And I don't care what anybody says. And if he doesn't win a trophy and we finish second, but 9 or more points behind him, we can't go into his next season saying, "Oh, he's the man to turn it around," because that's now nearly 2 seasons. You probably say next season it's just starting a rebuild. This is only 1 month into the job, because that's the kind of things he does. But I'll give him credit on what he's done in the last few games, because I have seen change and I have seen a bit of progress, and I'm happy with that. But I want to see more and want to see consistent. I don't want to see it if we drop points against Dundee, but we had a hard cup final and the players are shattered, and that's you put that in the rear view and you concentrate on Dundee now. You can't keep looking back, and that's as a club we've done that far too long over the years. We keep looking back. Stop looking back and look forward. We don't do that enough.
Kerr, he inherited. Look at the squad he inherited, man. Like Bale, when the board let Bale with a big war chest just run riot and around Ibrox, man, it absolutely killed the club. Bringing in Dessers and Lammers, Yilmaz, the sort of players like that, Matondo. These players, man, it was always going to take a manager. Even if we get rid of, and I'm not sticking up for Coman because I totally agree that if he loses to Celtic on the second, or we go back to this turgid, crap, boring football, then he has to go, right? But when you look at the big picture, it was always going to take a manager a bit of time to turn this situation around, So we can't be too hasty and just say, right, just get rid of him and bring in, people are on about Derek McInnes and put names like that, man. He's never, ever going to catch Celtic and Rodgers. Absolutely no chance.
It's interesting. I'm looking at a lot of the comments here. There's a real mixed bag, isn't there? Some are saying Ricky's view that you've got to give him time. We're starting to build. We're starting to grow. Others are saying, Joe, he's failed too many times. And you can put his record and say both things are true at the same time. Of what he's done 3 finals in a row, doing really well in Europe this season. He downsized the squad. He's brought in all these new players. They're taking time to gel. But also you say you need to win games, and you're however many points behind, and you've lost 7 out of 7 games against Celtic. So in some way, both things are true.
But Gary, he's got lucky as well, because if you look, we spoke about this in other pods, right? If you look at all the things that happened at the same time, right? Tavs came right back into form. Suter was on good form before he got injured. Raskin has came and been absolutely outstanding all of a sudden, and him and Diamande, I think that's a real solid partnership that we can grow with the 6 and 8. I think Diamande, we're starting to see the player finally that we signed from this team in Denmark. And then you've got Igamane up front and Danilo. All these players coming back into the team has given the team a fresh impetus of quality, When you look at our forum at the start of the season, the players that we were picking, Dessers up front, man, absolutely killing the team. You saw it at the weekend. Even when Igamane couldn't walk, he was still a better option than Dessers up front. So that has helped him a lot, and we need to hopefully we don't go back to this period over Christmas where we'll start losing 3 or 4 or 5 players. Cortez gets injured, Danilo gets injured, because we need a striker and we need a centre back. Because if Danilo gets injured, we're back to square one. Because I don't think Igamane, he can play the 9 in Europe and stuff like that, but I still think he's so much better suited off the left, playing with Danilo, with Czerny on the right. So we've got exciting things for the team to grow and to build on the next few games,
I think he's got to look at the youth system. I think he's got to use some of these guys. I mean, he gave Billy Rice a game in Nice. Is it Nice he gave him a game, didn't he? Yeah. Then Robbie Fraser can run against Tottenham, but they're not on the bench in a cup final. But you've got Dessers there and Dowell. Was Cortez on the bench or something? I think he was, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
No. But, I mean, why not? And like I said earlier, it's not against Kieran Dowell. I mean, he was signed by the club, he's got a contract, so he's entitled to be there. But surely if he's no one of the first picks and you're just finding one for 10 minutes here or 5 minutes here, surely that's not better going to a young guy, give him a bit of experience, give him a bit of help him mature when about the first team and going on to games, and they play with no fear at that age and they'll go and enjoy it and they'll learn more than like Kieran Dowell, who's just picking up a wage packet thinking, I'll sit here until it's leaving and I'll go back to the English Championship or League One, because that's what's going to happen. You've got Finlay Curtis banging in goals. I'm not going to say he's going to come into the first team and be a sensation, but I'd rather he get 15 minutes or 10 minutes and something like Dowell, because Finlay Curtis might be a future. Dowell's not. That's what I mean about, come on, Robbie Fraser comes on the other night, does really well, puts a ball in, and it's a lovely ball. Dessers scores, but he was offside. But then yesterday, you got 2 left backs who between them were poor. I'm not saying Robbie Fraser would have done better, but give yourself an option instead of just having guys on the bench there just because they're first team and they're in the first team squad. Do you know what I mean? I just rather went down that route and rather we just went to constantly going back to these guys who we know are there long term for us, but Finlay Curtis could be the way he's playing. I mean, Robbie Fraser could maybe improve more, Bailey Ice could improve more, Lovelace when fit. But no, I mean, I rather give the young guys a chance and see, right, and then you can maybe say, right, they're not good enough. Maybe get them, but before you know that, they've stagnated because they're not getting a chance, but they will still playing 10, 15 minutes every few games until he leaves. It's pointless for me, totally pointless.
I totally agree, Gary, with that. Like, I mean, it's so frustrating, Dowell and Dessers and these players that they just get minutes for no reason and they perform. They do absolutely nothing, and it's.
If I'm in the chat, Gary, I can't remember who it was, but he said you bring these two guys on late in a cup final, and it is second period extra time, but they need him to take a penalty, so he's no well sticking with.
Yeah.
Cherney put on the park or Barami because they never took a penalty. Do you know that way? Usually you see managers bringing players on like Gil done me, Ramsey brought him on to take a penalty. But he brought I know, that was a good example, was it?
I did see that.
But he brought him on and he done nothing and he never took a penalty. So usually stick with it because the game is petering out anyway. So I don't know. I agree he's done some things, but other things he's done, I think. So I'm not back in the Clermont. The train's passed me about 14,000 times. I'm not getting on that train. I'm driving.
So sorry, we've still got a few more weeks and see what come January 3rd. You might be fully on the rock by that point. I'm assuming. We also, in terms of other news today, we've got a new chief exec starting his post today. I don't think this pause really for talking about that. To be honest, I don't know if you have any massive opinions you want to say. You know, it's good to have leadership in place, but other than that, I'm not sure we're going to have a lot to discuss about chief exec.
No, well, I mean, what you will say is, I mean, it's been an absolute mess, and the potential's there. You know, you see how much money they're making across the city, so I don't buy into the potential's there at Rangers. You know, to turn it around. I don't think he could do much of a worse job than the way the club's been run the last few years, just letting managers loose in the toy shop to buy. It's like little kids being, just give them as much money as they want and say, right, buy any toy or any sweetie you want. So we need to change that for a start and get to have some proper leadership. A guy from Man United. So good luck, and you'll definitely need it. That's for sure. And he started off pretty well today. I think he was speaking to the SFA to get clarification. So that was a good start. So just keep that going and. Hopefully we start to see changes. I think Bisgrove got a lot of hype but a lot of that hype was just finished. But it was just air in a balloon, to be honest. I don't think he done as great a job as everyone thought. So hopefully these guys coming in can improve. You know.
I have to say you can't judge any two of them, Chairman Arseal, because they're going to need a lot of time. Do you know what I mean? So they're going to, and as a football fan, as long as you know this behind the scenes is starting to improve. It's not something we should be focused on, but that's the problem we do nowadays. But I think the two of them will come in and do well, but they'll have to see what's there. They just can't come in one day and fix everything. They're going to have to look through everything and then maybe bring in replacements for people that's left and see where they go. But it's good that they've appointed two people, Gary, because it's been so long they've been sitting, these positions have been sitting empty. And fair play to John Galligan for taking it on. I have to say, listen, being acting chairman because you get the parts, haven't you, who no interest, especially. I mean, I know they put their money at times into the club and then they get it back, but apart from that, they're not interested in voicing their opinions or coming up and speaking to the fans. They're not interested in that whatsoever. So fair play to John Galligan and hopefully, is it Fraser Thornton?
Fraser Thornton, yep.
Yeah.
And Stuart. So hopefully the two of them do well enough job, but we'll see how it goes over the coming season and maybe start next season. And everybody's mentioning about going to Umbro next season. I like Umbro, I have to say. It was one of my first ever Rangers kits when I was in school. So I remember the big collars about this size. Red and white and blue collars. It was red or blue. Straight, just a classic kit. So I don't mind coming back to that because Store I was never a big fan of. By all accounts, because Umbro may have bought Store, I'm 100% sure I've read that as well. But I'm happy about changing. Umbro maybe give us some more merchandise because the Store stuff's kind of all similar. There's no tat you can buy. Like you can't go up there and buy crap Rangers shop, like maybe for a young person, like maybe if you got a granddaughter or stuff like that, I have, and you want like a duck or a wee toy, you can't go out and buy that stuff. You used to be able to buy a bag of sweets. Now stuff like that used to be buying Rangers shop. Now it's like everything's quite expensive. You can't go up and say, here's a couple of quid, go and buy some. They'll laugh at you. You can get a poly bag for that. But do you know what I mean? It's like, I just want to be able to get a lot of different things, and you can give them kids, and then they can keep one, and then when they grow up, they're like, well, my papa gave me that. It's just stuff like that. I don't want any of this 50, 75 pounds tap thing, the custode badges coming off, or it's going on, the threads are coming out. That's nonsense.
Carry your old granny, man, right to Patrick Stewart and nah.
So Rangers,
listen. Wait, before we go, what I will say is these new guys coming in, just make sure the communication is good. That's all we ask as supporters, good or bad, you know. We're big boys, big women. We can deal with bad news. We can deal. Just don't bullshit us. Just every 6 months. It doesn't have. We're not expecting every month to you be all over the place telling us. Just every 3 months, every 6 months. So just go on a Rangers podcast. Go on Heart and Hand. Go on This Is Ibrox. You know. Just go and speak with the fans. The fans appreciate that. You know. We're big. We want to hear. We don't want to hear from Common every week and all that on him. We want to hear what's going on at our club, what the plans are. Don't feed us moonbeams. Tell us the truth, and fans will appreciate that 100%.
No, definitely. So, in terms of chief exec and chairman, communicate, leadership, and if you get ducks in the Rangers shop, that's
exactly. Yeah, we know.
Just ducks, just other tat, Gary, other kind of stuff you can buy.
It's not just no ducks, right? So I suppose just to finish then, we've spent an hour discussing lots of bits of the games. You know, Ricky, anything that just your overriding thoughts as we finish the pod tonight?
Nah, we've got a lot of games coming up. You know, it's a sore one to take, but I mean, I know the fans are very reactionary, especially now with social media and everything like that. But let's see where we are. We've got plenty of games to talk about in the next coming weeks over the Christmas period. Everyone loves the football at Christmas, you know. Spend a bit of time with the family and then get to watch Rangers every 3 days, 2 days and stuff. So it's great. So let's just calm down. Let's see where Clermont is after the 2nd of January, and then we'll do a re-evaluation after that.
Yeah. And yourself, Scott?
I'm just taking a game, Gary. So the last few games have been really good, and it's been good to see a wee bit of change the way we play, and we're scoring more goals, and we look more of a team because we bit more fight there. As you can see, the rapport's getting better between some of the players. I agree with Ricky about Diamande and Raskin. I think as a partnership it can get better, and I think it will get better. And it's good to see it because I've never seen it previously. It was all over the place. So hopefully we can keep that consistency with results and keep going forward. And yeah, there's going to be bumps in the road, but as long as we can see progress and we can see things happening, we'll be happy. But like I said, it's game by game. That's all we can do at this moment in time.
And on that note, the next game comes on Saturday. We will be back on Friday night to preview the home game against Dundee as we get very near Christmas time, don't we? Just a few days before there. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to all the Rangers fans. Thanks to all the Celtic fans. Thanks to everybody who contributed some of the bizarre comments in there. And hope you have a good week, and we'll see you on Friday. Bye now.